We live in a time where it's cool to be evil. And if you are speaking the truth, then you are considered lethal. Dang. Please do not let them deceive you. The Most High is coming back soon with vengeance and wrath for the evil. I do not care if they kill me. You see, 'cause my soul is immortal. The money and gold not important. The Most High restoring the order. I pray for your sons and your daughter. Real.
Hey, what's good, fam? So today I wanted to get into the deception of religion. Just the overall concept of religion. It's very deceptive in the same way that race hides lineage, which is something I brought up in some other videos as well. Just the same, religion is just as deceptive, just as dangerous. So in order for us to really understand that, we need to first look at the lesser gods, okay? And those that are, if you consider yourself Christian or you're, familiar with Christianity, then your head might have exploded just then. Try not to get triggered by the terminology, and let's just see what's in the writings, in the Word of the Most High, right? Okay, so I'm going to start in Psalm 82. Okay, so Elohim stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the Elohim. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Selah, defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Free them from the hand of the wicked. They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are unstable. I said, you are Elohim, and all of you are children of the Most High. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Elohim, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations. Hallelujah. Okay, so clearly here, there's lesser Elohim, right? There's lesser gods. And they have authority, right, over portions, at least, of people. So it says, how long will you unjustly? Okay, so the fact that they're a judge here, even though they're not using their authority in the way that the Most High would want them to, they do have this authority, right? And show partiality to the wicked. So that's definitely what we see in this world, that the wicked are favored. Okay, defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. So here he's pleading with them, which really shows the humility of the Most High's heart, because he gave them that authority, right? He could snatch it right back up, but he's going to allow them to do what they have in their heart to do with the authority he's given them. Okay, and he's not going to step on their toes until there's a certain limit that he hits, and then he's going to step in. But he's slow to move because he gave them that authority. He wants them to do what they're going to do. So anyway, but for sure we see that I said, right, I being Elohim, right, the Most High, you are Elohim. So he gave them that status. And then later on, verse 7, but you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So this is a really important statement too. We're going to come back to this. I'm going to bring up a passage in Daniel, and it will make more sense here. Okay, but Psalm 82 is part of the 66, Eurocentric canon, at least, right? That most people are familiar with. So here we can clearly see that there are lesser gods, okay? And they do have authority. And this really makes more sense, or it's logical when you think about who, the ruler of this world is, right? Which is Satan. So anyway, we'll get to that too. But let's continue on and take a look at Deuteronomy 32 here, verse 8. So verse 8, when the Most High divided their inheritance to the nations, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Yasharel here. And then it also says, according to the number of the angels of Elohim, or to the sons of Elohim, right? So we have a few different ways we can look at this. So let's cross-reference. Okay, so if we go to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17, verse 17, it sums up what is being said in both of these passages. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. Okay, that sounds familiar, right? But Yasharel is Yah's portion. Okay, and when you understand this, that each nation has a spiritual ruler. Okay, if you go back to Genesis 10 is nicknamed the Table of Nations. There's 70 nations there. Okay, so those 70 nations, they are according to lineage. Okay, that means that those 70 nations will not change. Okay, that also explains why Yah is specifically associated to his people, Yasharel, and the land. Okay, the land that Yasharel is supposed to be in. Now, anybody that loves the Most High Yah, anybody who loves him, they can believe on the name of his son, right? Anybody, regardless of lineage, can have citizenship into the kingdom of Yah by going through Yeshua, right? You believe on Yeshua and keep his commandments, you will be saved. But Yah is still associated to a specific lineage. Okay, and the whole situation in Egypt was a great example, I guess, because most people will say, what happened? Well, the Most High moved for Yasharel and he saved them, which is true. However, there was a mixed multitude that clung also to Yasharel, right? So there were people that were not Israelites. They saw the Most High move and said, oh my goodness, let me go and be with these people, because clearly their God is the supreme ruler. So he respected that, and they were saved as well. Okay, so anybody who believes in him can be saved, but he is still associated to a specific lineage, just like the rest of these rulers are associated to their nations. Okay, so if we continue, we'll look at Jubilees 15, but Jubilees 15 is going to go into this as well. So let's see. I'll start in verse 30 here. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers in Esau, the Most High did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Yasharel to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his, and over all hath he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. But over Yasharel he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler, and he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. Okay, so there's definitely a pattern forming here. For those wondering about this last bit, and over all hath he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. So these authorities that he has set over the other nations are a test to the nations themselves, which I thought was interesting. But then it that again brings up another pattern, because let's say before the human race was created, okay, then you just had these spirits in the incorruptible realm, right? So Satan was there along with all the angels that the Most High knew would fall away eventually, right? So would they have still fallen away? Yes, because they, it was in their heart. But what really happened when he created humans is that it revealed what was in their heart, right? So one of the purposes for humans that we have served is a test for the angels too. And so I just thought that was interesting. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's see. Okay, so Luke. Alright, so here, this is Yeshua being tempted by Satan. Okay, so here in verse 5, then the devil, taking him up on a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said to him, all this authority I will give you, and their glory, for this has been delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. Therefore, if you will worship before me, all will be yours. And Yeshua answered and said to him, get behind me, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship Yah, your Elohim, and him only you shall serve. Okay, so Satan is the ruler of this earth, right? Because the Most High gave him that authority. And he reveals this openly to Yeshua, right? He's all this authority I will give you, and their glory, for this has been delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I wish, right? And Yeshua answered him because to say yes to that would violate the first commandment, right? You shall have no other Elohim before me. Okay, so actually that commandment in itself shows you that there are other lesser gods, right? Because why would he be saying, don't worship other gods if there are no other gods? But anyway, we already looked at Psalm 82 regarding this. So here he's showing, he has this power. Okay, this correlates to 2 Corinthians 4. So let's go there. Okay, verse 4. I'll start in verse 3. That's where the sentence starts. But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded. Okay, the God of this age, right? Lesser, lowercase g. Who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Mashiach, who is the image of Elohim, should shine on them. Okay, so again, we see that there are lesser gods, and even Satan is considered a lesser god. So if Satan is a lesser god, okay, and we saw from Psalm 82, right, that these lesser gods, you shall die like men, they can't be men because they're celestial beings, and fall like one of the princes. So let's take a look at Daniel 10. Whoops. And I'll start here in verse 12. Then he said to me, do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your Elohim, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. Okay, so this is Daniel and a celestial being, an angel speaking to him. I can't remember which angel it is. I don't know, maybe he'll say. But anyway, this is an angel speaking to Daniel. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. Now I have come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. Okay, so there's a lot being said here, but these princes, okay, if this angel was fighting these princes, right, then they must be princes in the spirit kingdom as well, right? But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Okay, so another another celestial being had to come and help him, and then he was able to get to Daniel. All right, but all that to say that the Michael and the angel that's speaking to Daniel here in this passage are both angels of Yah. Okay, so if they're angels of Yah, who are they fighting, right? Like, but this is I'm bringing this up just to show that there is consistency. Okay, that these rulers over the other nations have fallen away from the Most High. Okay, and now they are getting the nations to worship them instead of pointing to the Most High like they should be. Okay, that's why this angel is fighting with them. Okay, and that goes along with what we have been reading in Psalm 82, what we brought up in Deuteronomy 32, okay, and in Ecclesiasticus. So we can also see this when the Most High gave his people over, right? He gave Yasharel over to the nations, just as he told us. Okay, so I'll go here real quick, but Deuteronomy 28, verse, I think it's 64. Then Yah will scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other Elohim, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. Okay, so his people will be scattered. This is exactly what Yeshua brought up in Luke as well, that the Yahudim, okay, that Judah would go into all nations in captivity, right? And that's what we see in the transatlantic slave trade and the Arabic slave trade, most notably. Okay, in any case, this is all that was recorded, all that was seen by Enoch in a vision. Okay, Enoch had quite a few visions, but in this one, it's basically a vision of the history of the world. It's pretty incredible. In this case, I'm going to start in verse 92, and he's explaining what he sees. And in this vision, peoples are they're represented with animals, and Yasharel's represented as sheep. Okay, so he's going to start seeing, I saw too that he forsook the house of their fathers and their tower, giving them all into the power of lions to tear and devour them, into the power of every beast. Okay, so the tower fell. That means that Jerusalem has fallen. Then I began to cry out with all my might, imploring the Most High of the sheep, and showing him how the sheep were devoured by all the beasts of prey. Now remember, they got devoured, and Jerusalem fell because of their own sins. But he looked on in silence, rejoicing that they were devoured, swallowed up, and carried off, and leaving them in the power of every beast for food. He called also 70 shepherds, and resigned to them the care of the sheep, that they might overlook them. Okay, now notice he called 70 shepherds, just like the amount of rulers over the nations, right? There's 70 nations. There's a ruler for each nation except for Yasharel, which is Yah's portion. Okay. Now he called them together and resigned to them the care of the sheep. Verse 95, saying to them and to their associates, every one of you henceforwards overlook the sheep, and whatsoever I command you, do, and I will deliver them to you numbered. So he handed over his own people. He's telling them that this is what he's going to do. Verse 96, I will tell you which of them shall be slain, these destroy, and he delivered the sheep to them. And we know, we just saw in Deuteronomy 28 that, the Yasharel would go into all nations, which is exactly what Yeshua said about Yehuda or Judah, and that's what we see in history. Verse 97, then he called to another and said, understand and watch everything which the shepherd shall do to these sheep, for many more of them shall perish than I have commanded. Okay, of every excess and slaughter which the shepherd shall commit, there shall be an account, as how many have perished by my command, and how many they may have destroyed of their own heads. So he had this congregation, okay, of these rulers over the nations. He told them, look, I'm gonna hand my people over to you, and I have a set number that you are allowed to destroy. Then he, after that disperses, he calls another spirit, and he tells this spirit to make sure everything they do is recorded, because he already knew that they were going to go beyond what he told them to do. All right. So again, we see, just like we see in this world, okay, this world is a reflection of what's going on in the incorruptible realm. These rulers are fallen, which makes sense. They're just like their Elohim, right? They're just like Satan, which is over all of them. So anyway, all that to say that what's coming is a united religion. Okay, what many people know is the one world religion, right? And there's been a lot of talk about that. But my point in bringing up and pointing out these lesser gods is that religion hides these gods. Okay, when if you go back, you look through scripture, the Hebrews saw people associating them to their gods. Okay, so the Egyptians or the Mitzrayim, they were associated to those lesser gods of Mitzrayim or of Egypt. Okay, and likewise for the rest of these other nations. And that's why those other gods come up. They knew those other lesser gods that those people were associated to. This idea of religion, it really started in Babylon, okay, in ancient Babylon. Okay, that's where like the origin of the concept of religion starts to get created, but it was the Gentiles who perfected this concept. Okay, let me bring up Nebuchadnezzar's statue real quick. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, so for those that don't know, this statue represents a history of mankind according to the nation that rules during this time. Okay, so ancient times, it was Babylon ruled, then came the Persians ruled, and then after these two, okay, these are the dark kingdoms, so to speak. From then on, it will be the Gentile era. Okay, so this represents Greece rather. This represents Rome, and then the feet are iron and clay. Okay, iron represented Rome, so we know even once we get to the Ten-Toe Kingdom, or the Serpent Kingdom as I call it, we know that Rome will still play a part. Okay, but all that to say that once the Gentile era began, they really started perfecting this concept of religion. Okay, so when you use religions, nobody remembers the God that is usually associated to these other religions, or however many lesser gods there are for all these different religions, right? But you can combine a religion, okay, because you're hiding the gods behind, like under it. But you can't say there's not a way to unite all the lesser gods together. So when we look at the concept of religion that way, then it reveals the motive. Okay, just like with race, which is, I think I said that initially, but once we understand how important lineage is, especially when you're studying the Word of the Most High, okay, then it explains the deception of race. Okay, because race doesn't tell you anybody's lineage. It erases the lineage, just like religion erases the gods. Okay, that's all the scripture I'm going to go over. But I did want to bring something else up. Let's see. So if you want to dive further into, the concept of religion and where that came from, Truth Unedited has he has a really good playlist, and I think he gets right into it in part 1. But you can take a look at that here on his YouTube channel. If you're wondering or want to know more about the gods or other celestial beings, the incorruptible realm, both Dante and Teo have really good playlists regarding that. So this Ancient World series was really good that they put up, and then Dante has this really great playlist as well. I'll just scroll down a little bit. But yeah, these were really good too. And he has books that go into this in detail as well. All praises to the Most High Yah and to the Lion of Yahudah. Peace, family.